So here we go, guys. Part two of the Diamond Dice project that I was sharing with you. This is the mini album that I am finished making using only diamond dies and the graphic 45 Sweet Sentiments paper stack. So I left you off with that page before. Now we're going to move on to the next page. For this page here, use again those beautiful papers to cover my chipboard. Here I have the stickers that came with the sticker sheet, and I just decided to use that as two little borders for the top and the bottom. This piece here, again, I did the same thing using my diamond die. I just cut off a piece of paper. I just barely put it through my die cutting machine, and I just cut this little edge off using one of the metal dies, and this is what that die looks like. That's the labels nesting one. And if you haven't seen the previous video, I was explaining basically what I did was I just took a piece of paper, ran it through my machine, but for this one I only ran it through this much. I just wanted the arches, um, and then I just left the paper 12 by 12. This is about 2 inches, and so I used one of the really much smaller dies for that. Um, to that I added this little piece here that came from that trim that I had showed you earlier. I have another metal piece here, and this is acting as a tie. Now, again, my little book inside came out a lot bulkier than I thought, and I had a magnet, but I wasn't sure if the magnet would hold. Apparently it does hold, but for safety measures, I just decided to add a little piece of twine just in case. But it is a magnet closure, as you can hear and see. And actually, it is quite strong. I really didn't um, need that piece, but like I said, I was just being extra careful. This is one of the borders to the paper collection as well. Underneath that, I added some lace. Then on top of that, I added these little applique trim pieces that I cut it apart. I put one here and one here. Then on top of that, I added these little tiny blossoms that I created using one of my punches. And then on top of that, I layered it, adding one of my flowers that I made using the realistic rose die. To that, I added one of my little cabochon sparkles that I have. And so this acts as a little holder for the mini. And then on the bottom here, I don't know if you can see that I have these little white heart flower. Well, maybe if I took the mini out, that would make it easier for you to see. And that acts as a little bumper for the teeny tiny mini so it doesn't slip up and down in the book. In the album. Here I have another greeting that I have fussy cut. And thank goodness Dee has sent us extra of the papers that have the sentiments and the little cutouts because I cut them all out. I used them all. So here's my little magnet, and here's that little closure that I told you I did using the diamond die. And over here as well. And then to this, I just added some little fussy cut pictures from the paper stack. So that's what the page looks like without the little album. And then the little mini album I made is here. This is a Sarah Kate image that I colored in and fussy cut. I laid that on top of the rose filigree die, which, like I said in the previous video, is one of my most favorite dies of all. I just love this die. It is so big. um, and I love the intricate cuts. Oh, I need to glue this down a little bit more. So here I have this very delicate, very pretty lace. And the reason I always try to put lace or some type of fabric onto these little minis, either on the top or the bottom, is, for me, it acts as extra binding, especially if the book is going to be handled a lot, being that it's paper. Eventually it does crease and it might even break depending on the quality of the paper. So what I do is I add this trim just to secure it and add some extra strength to the book in case it is handled a lot. I also added this fancy trim here, little embroidered lace trim. And then to the back of the book, I cut out another one of the hearts. And I did leave it white because I wanted it to stand out. And I also added some more trim on the top and the bottom. On the inside of the book, it opens up like this. And here I have a little belly binding thing going on, again, using the paper cutouts. Here I'm using the Labels One Nesting Die set to create a little label for here, and it says I love you, and that sentiment is some fussy cutting from the paper stack. This little hearts here that I have here on the bottom act as little stoppers for this mini. And this paper that I used here did not come from the Sweet Sentiments paper stack. This was actually just a random piece of paper I had in my stash that I thought went really well. And I always try to put more than one layer of paper just to make it a little bit sturdier. The little mini does come out, and again, I used one of the cutouts from the paper line. I used a piece of the designer paper, just rounded off my corners with a paper punch, again using the trim to act as a, not only to bind it but also to give it a decorative edge. And again, like I was saying, I try to do this with all my little minis or paper, anything that I make with paper that's going to be handled a lot. And what I mean by handle, opened and closed a lot, only because it does tend to create a crease and the paper will break. No matter how good the paper is, it will break. I find that with adding something, maybe several layers of papers or some sticky back canvas or duct tape or washi or lace, it just supports it just a little bit better. Here in the corners, I added some flat back pearls. Back here, I have another sentiment, Be Mine, Valentine, some more of those little flowers that I made. Fussy cut some of this, the labels and the little image. I added it to that designer paper. I distressed all the edges, and then on the inside, I created two more little photo mats with the Labels One nesting die. And then on the inside, that filigree stuff that you see in the background, that was a stamp. It's one of my favorite flourish stamps that I have in my stash. I abuse it a lot. And it is by Craft Smart. I just love this stamp. I love it. And so you have two little photo mats here, and then this just goes right back into the little belly bind. I do have it a little bit snug on purpose because I don't want the little mini flying all over the place. Then for this page in the book, in the mini that goes in the mini, I have here this little paper clip. Now this idea I saw Leonie from My Paper's Passion. Oh, she did a project so long ago. I think it was last year sometime. Might have even been longer than that, where I saw her take a paper clip and glue it into the paper in the book, and I thought that was like so genius. So I got that idea from her, and what I did was I just made a tiny little slit with my craft knife, and I used a glue dot, and I just used the paper clip. I stuck that in there. Here I have some different banners that I layered. And this is also a diamond die nesting die set that is now being offered. And it is one of I keep saying it's one of my favorites. They're all my favorites. I'm just going to be quiet. I love them all. Here I fussy cut little Cupid with a violin, and I glued him down. I also fussy cut this little cart and butterfly. And here I have a little flower that I made, and I glued that down there as well. And then for the little mini, and this idea I got from Lydia, who was I Triple Dog Dare You, when she did her little journals. I have seen bookbinding before, but before, the ones I used to see, they would make the holes to go all the way up and down. And in Lydia's video, I saw where they only made one or two holes, and it held the book just fine. So that was what I opted for this tiny mini. So again, another little image that I fussy cut from the collection. I used another piece of designer paper for matting. Use my photo corner punches, distressed everything. Have the little Nature's Flourish die here, which I also distressed with my distress markers. And then I have those pretty little flowers again that I made. And I have these flowers and these flourishes throughout the whole entire mini. I have some twine that I binded it with. And then on the inside, I just have some fussy cut images. And these pages will serve as places for photos, or for some journaling, or for some memorabilia, whatever you want. Here I have a little sticker from the collection. And here I took the big journal spot and I made it into somewhere where you can jot down notes. Maybe you can put a photo here and a journal spot over here. This came from the sticker collection as well. There was a little stamp, so I decided to put it on the postcard. And I love this so much, I didn't want to cover it up, so I just left it like that. Here, another place for some photos. And here I fussy cut these, but I only glued them on the edge so that way if you wanted to put a photo, you can tuck it in behind the photo, just for some added interest. And I did the same, I believe, for this one as well. I only partially glued them down, that way you can still put the photo inside. And then this mini just goes right up in here and stays right in place. It is not going anywhere. It's not slipping and sliding. So thank you, Leonie, so much for that idea. That was like super cool. And then the little mini goes back in here. And like I said, I just have the twine. I guess it held it down while the glue was still settling. But as you can see, those magnets are pretty strong. That puppy isn't going anywhere. And I just wrap it around the little heart. On the opposite page, for this page, I kind of created sort of a gatefold. And what I did here was I used more papers from the collection. This was a sticker. And what I did was I put it on a piece of the design paper. I fussy cutted it. I added one of my flowers that I made with my sunflower dye. Over here, some of the Nature's Flourish dyes. And I added some bling to those. I left them white because I wanted them to stand out. Again, using my lace to act as a binding, because this will be opening and closing a lot. To the flower, I added this charm that I made. And what I have here is a little music note, because music to the heart. I have also a little key, which is the key to the heart. And then on the actual heart, this is actually a locket, guys. And it does open up. To the locket, I added this flat back little heart that I glued on top of it. In the locket, you can put whatever you want in there, and it is an actual official locket. And then that one just snaps. You can close that up right just so. And I have that hanging off of a garment pin as well. And that's how it looks on the outside. And then on the inside, I have a magnet here. So you just open it up like so. And then on this side, you can see the little magnet. I was going to put a flower on it, but then I was scared I would lose some of the strength of the magnet. So I just left it like that. And I just fussy cut that little flower there. Butterfly, a little sentiment. Here, I created an envelope using, again, those nesting labels, guys. What I did for that, and let me take this one out first, and then I'll take this one out. I just created an envelope using the nesting die. Same principle as the other ones I did before. Just cut out slightly on the edge, folded it up the paper. Now this I was going to fold over, but I decided to leave it an open envelope only because I wanted to add this little fussy cut image that I put there. And this I also fussy cut it from the paper collection. The only thing is with this one, I actually colored it in with my distress markers just to highlight the flowers a bit more. And then these little images that I fussy cut, I put some cardstock to the back of them so that they would be journal spots. And then you can write whatever you want on the back, and they just tuck right into the little envelope like so. And those will serve as little journal spots. And then here I have the photo mat, and it's a nice big photo mat. I have the stickers from the collection in the corners. I fussy cut these flowers, also fussy cut that little heart from the paper collection, glued them down, and again I did not glue them down all the way so that the photo can be tucked behind it for a 3D effect. Here another journal spot that says Cupid's arrow. That was a sticker also from the collection. I fussy cut these two little images as I did this image as well. And then it just closed right up just like so. And then it hides that one. Now for my next one, which was going to be my last page, otherwise this video might be about 3 hours long. I'm only kidding, guys. The next page, again, covered it with some designer papers, added some bling. Now for this piece, this was a sticker. It was 2 stickers. And again, the same thing that I did with the frame. I put it on pop dots. I did put the sticker on cardstock just to give it some stability because now it's nice and strong. I layered the inside of this photo frame. This was 2 pieces. This was the inside of it. I glued that down first, and then I took this piece that was a little frame that you could use for a photo or just embellishment. I just put pop-up dots and left a little Cupid there because I thought it was such a perfect little piece for the front of this. I have some of my flat back little hearts floating about, some fussy cuts. This is my little monarch butterfly, and to the little monarch butterfly, which is a diamond die, I added these little heart-shaped little pearls. And of course my little flowers that I made are scattered about. I have some of this beautiful white flat back pearl trim running along the bottom. Here is this sticker, and it says memories. This also came from the paper collection. And then here I have another little magnet, and this door opens like so. And these two, I just glued 2 of those flat backs together to create sort of a little handle for the flap. Over here I created a journal spot, and I added some more of this very pretty crochet turquoise trim. And then on this side, another place for a photo. This I glued halfway, not all the way, but halfway. And I just fussy cut that from the paper collection. I added some bling, another flat back pearl heart, and this sentiment with all my love. I just put it there so you have a little room here for a photo. Now this closes, and this flower here is one of the flowers I made with my realistic rose diamond die. I added some laces. Here I have two of the little flowers that I made, and this is a pull-out. So when you pull this out, these are photo mats. I have here that says forever and always. I added some of this tiny little baby lace trim and some more of those white flat back pearl trim that I have in my stash. I did the same up here. Here is my little flower that I made, and I added one of my little gems that I had in my stash. And then when you flip it over, another place for photos. This is some stickers from the collection. And then this here, I created a banner using my nesting banner dies, also from Diamond Dies. And then I had the little flowers in between. And then this here, I cut out using my circle punch. And I did score it, and I gave it 1/4 of an inch extra on the sides so that I would be able to place the photo mat in the book without much of a fuss. And then I just lift up the flower petals and just tuck that in as so. So guys, these were the pages here that I